Have you gone through your sensitivity training session yet? Many companies have them. You know what they're like. They're like the scene from the TV show The Office.
You cannot make fun of a person for something or some action that they have done that they regret. You can only make fun of things that they have control over. Like Oscar is gay. That is his choice. We can make fun of that.
All right, that's obviously satire. Workplace sensitivity is usually not that stupid. But sometimes it is stupid. It's a huge business now, big enough to be featured in media as something companies do.
Just in case some Puerto Rican woman or some fat Chinese guy files a lawsuit against the FDNY, or God help us, there's another disgruntled female firefighter who thinks she has a case, the FDNY could say, no, they can't be prejudiced. They took this sensitivity training.
Is that what it's really about? Brad Fetterman is with F&H Solutions Group, which sells sensitivity training to companies. That's obviously unfair, but...
It's different for different companies. Some companies are trying to manage compliance. They want to make sure they cover themselves in case they get...
Cover your rear.
Cover your rear. Some companies do, and when you do that, the training doesn't work. They spend a lot of time on things like do's and don'ts. If you really want to make a difference in a company, you have to build a culture where people engage each other in a productive way.
Employees roll their eyes when people like you come in. Why is that if it's not somewhat stupid?
They roll their eyes because I think 80% of the people get it. It's the 10% on either extreme. You've got ultra-sensitive people and you've got ultra-insensitive people. There's also
But you ever tell the sensitive people, toughen up?
Sure, you can tell some of the sensitive people to toughen up, but you've got to find out where the line really is. There's a big difference between sensitivity and harassment, sensitivity and bullying. There's $64 billion lost by companies every year because of these kinds of issues. It costs
lawsuits.
It costs between $125,000 to $250,000 just to go to trial, and then you've got awards.
Even if you win.
Even if you win, if you go to trial, even if you win, the awards, if you lose, $250,000 to $550,000 on average, and some of the awards are in the millions. There was one award that was $168 million against a company. That can devastate an organization.
Yeah, and I would think your company coming in and charging $1,000 or $8,000 for services like this makes everyone hypersensitive and more likely to sue.
It depends how it's done. I think when you come in, first of all, some companies have to do it. For instance, in California, there's a law that managers have to go through a certain amount of this kind of training regardless every couple of years. There's no way around it. You don't do it, you're in trouble. Secondarily, companies that really engage diversity and inclusion in a meaningful way, they build it into their strategy rather than just doing training, and they focus on building a strong culture, they actually do perform better.
A Harvard Business Review article says a study of 800 companies over 30 years showed diversity training had no positive effects in the average workplace.
I'm familiar with that study. Training by itself as an event doesn't produce a lot of results.
Millions were spent on training, resulting in, well, nothing.
I agree. If you put people through diversity training and a company doesn't care about diversity, it doesn't matter. It's more than training. It's about building and fostering a culture where people feel valued and respected on a consistent basis.
How careful do we have to be? One magazine says you must never use man words like manpower, it's work power, or staff. It's not man-made, it's synthetic. The mailman who brings your mail is not a mailman, he's a mail carrier. In college, you're no longer a freshman, you're a first year. And if you work for the British government, be aware that certain phrases have been retired.
Retired sayings include whiter than white, gentleman's agreement, black mark, and right-hand man. Even master bedroom is problematic.
Why is master bedroom a problem? I'm assuming
it's because of master, but my wife uses the word master bedroom, so it's okay in my house.
Forbes magazine says men should not use you guys. It's inaccurate if women are present.
There's a point where it gets ridiculous. Yeah, you guys.
Also,
you guys.
Women say you guys to each other.
Yeah.
Has it gone too far? I mean, I met my wife at work. We flirted before we dated, and she didn't directly work for me, but I was higher in the ranking. Is that illegal?
Well, it's not illegal. I think, have we gone too far? In some cases we have. HR departments tend to react to the 0.01%, and they build rules to cover their rear in many cases, and they hamstring everyone else at the company when they do that. I met my wife at work as well, and we actually had to leave that company to be able to explore our relationship and see if we want to get married. And we got married. 19 years later, we're still married.
Thank you, Brad. Coming up, race. Do I have to call my next guest African American? I'm white. What's wrong with just calling him black? Is it racist if I say that?